Hi, I'm Grace Ambrook. Today we're going to delve into worth, and we're going to kind of break the paradigm, shatter an illusion, and because worth is something that most people at some point have worth questions. But what I also find is that a lot of people get totally stuck in self-worth issues. So each time they reach another level, it opens up this whole Pandora's box of, am I worthy of this success? What will happen to me if I have this success? Why would it happen for me and not somebody else? And you can spend a long time in that funnel, if you like, of thinking that it's actually a worth issue. And so, yes, your mind may go into stories of, am I worth it? Do I deserve it? But today we're going to go a little deeper than that and just see how that is a question that only the ego can actually ask, that the heart and the soul just do not go there. And so this is an opportunity to realize worth issues are actually a sign of disconnect from your soul. And that's all they are. That it's actually not a worth issue. It's an indicator of a disconnect from the essence of who you are. So in understanding that all energy is one, so we are energy, and energy is everywhere, and that therefore we are everywhere, and that there's a connection because everything is energy, so that's the connector. And in that statement, which when we go a bit deeper is not actually entirely true, but let's just play with everything is energy, because we have concepts around. Let me clarify this because it does need to be clear. So we have a concept, have a concept around money, for example. So money's not actually an energy. Lots of people work with money as an energy, but money is not actually an energy. It's a concept around which energy forms. So when I say everything is energy, I'm going to put in that there are concepts around with energy forms. So money is a concept, and in many ways, worth is a concept, because we are all energy and we are all one. So back to worth. So when we go into self-worth story, then it's actually an indicator of a disconnection from the deeper knowing that we're all actually one. So if you go into that place, if you choose to go into, well, if we're all one, there cannot be any worth issues because it's all one. Like it just can't go there. So when worth issues come up, I'm going to share with you a couple of questions that you can utilize to bring you back into an open state of connectivity, because it's actually just an opportunity for you to discover more about the truth of who you are, not the story that the ego might want to make up about whether or not you're worthy of it, because your heart and your soul knows that you're here, you're in a conscious body. So you are totally worth, like it's not even it just does not come into consideration, because you are here as this incredible manifestation of energy put together in this utterly unique way that has universal worth, if you like, if you want to actually even get into the worth, because it must be, because it's actually the universe. You are actually the universe itself. So as that, how do you choose to show up to your life and your choices, knowing that you are fully resourced, fully capable? And that worth is simply a story that the ego wants to play through you at that moment. And you get to make a choice about whether you're going to be experiencing the awesomeness of your being or whether you're going to play in the ego. Choice is yours. But I share this so that you have another choice on your menu. You can choose something else. You can choose to go, oh my gosh, okay, so in this moment, I've forgotten that I'm actually the universe. Oh my gosh, and as the universe, what do you want to experience? What do you want to express? So, you know, your worth is not found in living up to the expectations of others. You won't find your worth in someone else's projection of who they want you to be. And you actually won't even find your worth in the love that you receive from another. Because if you say you must be a worthy person because this person loves you, the moment that this person doesn't love you, you lose your worth. And that's not true because you are the universe. So there's all sorts of codependency patterns that sit in and amongst the worth story that gets played out by the ego, unless you choose to actually go, oh my gosh, I am the universe. What is in front of me here? What is the opportunity here? You won't find your worth in how many zeros you have on your bank balance. They're all things we get to play with and have fun with. It's not the source of our worth. So it's like looking for a key under a rock that doesn't have the key. You make rocks and you do all these things and you go, well, there's my worth, there's my, oh, it's not there, it's not there, it's not there. It's exhausting, sweetheart. It's totally exhausting. Heartbreaking. I know. I went there. I was there once too. And so when your worth comes up and you know, I've actually seen people sit in a group and talk about how unworthy they are. And it's like, wow, like you are a divine piece of creation on this beautiful planet, the planet of infinite creation. Anything is possible here. And it's just a momentary slip, or maybe it's longer, that the ego runs it. And you know, I talk about this a little bit more in the sharing I have around thinking and overthinking. But you have a choice to make. It won't be found in those things. Those things we have and we experience because they're fun, because they're awesome, because they give us greater freedom, not because that's where our worth sits. And the energy behind what you do and how you do it is the game changer. The energy behind, the energy that you use to create, to have sales conversations, to design programs, to run events, the energy behind that is pivotal. And if you're looking for your worth in those things, then the universe can't actually find you in that energy because it's not the truth of how the universe runs, because you are the universe. So you can't go seeking worth outside of yourself. And if you don't know who you actually are, then nothing will actually feel fulfilling. You know, so a lot of people make comparisons and they say, you know, like if you're looking for that sense of fulfillment, you might look at another person's life and say, well, you know, they've got it all sorted. It's all right for them. They've got, you know, a supportive husband. It's all right for them. You know, they inherited $500,000. It's all right for them. Look at their lifestyle. it's not real. And again, it's like, it's not really the lifestyle, and it's not really the happy marriage. It's actually what you're looking for is this sense of joy and fulfillment. And this sense of joy and fulfillment comes from knowing the truth of who you are. And the beginning, the platform of the truth of who you are is that you are the universe. And as the universe, what choices and what's vibrating inside of you that wants to be expressed? And digging down deep into, so knowing what your unique expression of is, the sense where it's all going to feel worth it then. And your sense of being comes from that place. So when you find yourself in the worth story, I have to share with you a couple of questions that I'll pop up on the screen here. And that, you see, when we ask open-ended questions, we're actually reconnecting. We're asking what else is possible here, and we're inviting our soul and our higher awareness to actually be present and to inform our awareness and the way that we see things and the way that we're thinking things. So you can't actually make energy happen, but you can open yourself to the energy. And some of these questions, you just put them on repeat in your body. So as soon as you, or in your brain, as soon as you find yourself going down this worth story, it's like, oh, I'm not worthy of it. What makes me worthy of it? Oh gosh, rah, rah, rah. Then you just course correct. You go, hang on a second, where's those questions that Grace gave us? And that's what you put into your field, into your energy field. That's what you begin to nurture and nourish yourself with, these open questions that open up the energy, because the universe is here for you. And therefore, when you ask of the greater awareness these questions, there's an adjustment in the energy field that starts to bring them to you. And it can happen in the bizarrest of things. I see them in number plates, on signs, on buses. I'll be sitting down somewhere and I'll overhear a conversation for a moment. Then it'll be like 3 or 4 sentences that go, oh my gosh, the universe just answered my question. And these questions are, what can I know that, as I know, gifts me a different perspective? So, because in the disconnect, it's like there's a resistance, conscious, subconscious, or unconscious resistance to knowing something that you know about yourself, about life, about what's going on. So you're actually resisting something. That's when you go into a worth question. So the open question that you ask of your higher self, your soul, the universe, is, what can I know that, as I know, gives me a completely different perspective on this? Because it's not about worth, because worth is an illusion created by the ego to keep you separated from the essence of who you are. So you ask that essence, what can I know that, as I know, gives me a different perspective on this? Like, worth is just a bullshit story that keeps us separated from a dynamic, amazing part of who we are. Much more fun, huh? To discover that. Or another question can be, what can I allow about myself that, as I allow, shifts my perspective? Because the way that you look at things is the way you go about things. You know, like, if it looks like a crappy day, then you go about defensive, expecting it to be crappy, because that's your perspective. Your perspective is, if this is a wondrous day full of infinite possibilities, well, there's an energy shift right there, ladies. It's like, oh, okay. And so in relationship to worth is, what can you allow about yourself that, as I allow, shifts my perspective? What can you set free? What can you receive about you? What can I allow about myself that as I allow it shifts my perspective? Because if your perspective shifts, you will have a completely different experience and you will take completely different actions, ones that are actually a reflection of the truth of who you are. Or another question can be, who can I be that as I be receives more of me? Who can I actually be? Can I be that inspiring woman? Can I be that leader? Can I be that person who takes a different perspective? Can I be true to me? So who can I be that as I be receives more of me? Because this is actually a really powerful question, an opener statement, because it's generating more of you. You're asking yourself to free up more of you. Who can I be that as I be receives more of me? Because it's like it's a gate opener. Because if you're being true to the truth of who you are, you can receive more of who you are. When you're not being true to who you are and you're trying to be somebody else, when you're trying to follow somebody else's way of being and say, well, if I have that, then I will be that because it works for them, that's maybe not you. And when you're not being you, you can't receive more of you because the gates are closed, yeah? So who can I be that as I be receives more of me? Because as you receive more of you shows up and you have more fun, you have more fulfillment, you have more joy, you have more success. So I suggest that you pause, write down those questions, pop them on your phone, and anytime you go into a story of worth, what can I know that as I know gives me a completely different perspective? And you just repeat it. What can I know that as I know gives me a completely different perspective? What can I know that as I know gives me a completely different perspective? What can I allow about myself? It's like, even in asking that question, just want you to what can I allow about myself? Can you feel when you actually ask that question from your heart, can you feel how your body actually drops into it? Just like, oh, that's better. What can I allow about myself? That as I allow it, shifts my perspective. So play with those questions. Love to hear about your experiences with them. Sometimes you do get an instant download, an instant awareness, and sometimes you have to kind of play with it with a day or two. But when you keep asking those questions, you're actually inviting in your worth, which is your oneness, which is in the uniqueness of who you are. Because remembering that worth is a story of the ego. Because we're all one and we're all the universe, you are the universe. And when you realize that you are the universe, then worth is not even it cannot exist. So have fun playing with this, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.